Well, we want to know what you want to talk about today. It's our third of Unscripted shows in a row. We'll get back to our regular once a month Unscripted here after this, but Debbie and I just sensed the other day that you had a lot to share on various different topics, things going on in your life and the world around us. So we presented these 3 days of Unscripted, and Debbie, phone lines are right now wide open. This is the best time to call.
So if you have something that's on your mind or your heart or something that's, bothering you, you want to talk about it, you want to talk about our faith, the church, whatever that you think that, I need somebody to talk to. Well, now is the time. We have opened up the phone lines for you. So call in 833-288-3986. And if I'm pretty sure about this, I think our president may be speaking right now, so people are listening to our president. But if you can multitask at the same time, listen to our president and call in, that would help.
All right, the number is 833-288-EWTN, 833-288-3986. And Debbie, we've seen the last couple of days that probably had the majority of calls were about the COVID-19 and right. People's response to that and how they're doing and people losing jobs and the effect that that's having. But folks, in our unscripted shows, you could literally call about anything. Just share a faith question. You can suggest a future show topic. Maybe God has moved in your life in some powerful way and you just want to share that. So it's really up to you what we talk about.
Mm-hmm. And we've had a lot of folks call in and ask us, or I should say email in, and ask us if we're going to be doing some more of these shows on Monday to see how things are unfolding and what's happening in people's lives. And Jerry, can we share that now? I think that's a good thing for people. We're very concerned about everybody that has had the recent layoffs from work. You've heard that your hours were cut. Bills are just getting overwhelming. You're trying to plan ahead. You're not sure what the government's going to help you with and what you have to struggle with. So we want to talk about that on Monday. If you've had this sudden change in what's happening in your life, like your work has changed, something has drastically changed financially, would you consider calling in on Monday? We want to hear how you're doing. We care. We care about your emotional health, your spiritual health. We care about your families. We want to know what's going on. And you know what? A lot of people, we're all faced with this, right? So a lot of people are saying, well, I can't bother my friends. I can't bother people because we're all dealing with it. Well, we're here. We're here and we care. So that's going to be Monday's show if you had a recent layoff or something of that nature and you want to talk about it.
Well, you can talk about whatever you want today at 833-288-3986. I mentioned toward the end of the show yesterday that I was hoping today maybe just to put out a special invitation. If you've seen somebody do something special for another person during this crisis that's going on, maybe you yourself have done something for somebody else, just maybe even anonymously. I've heard stories, Debbie, of people going through, drive-through restaurants and tell the person who takes their money, hey, I'd like to, pay for that person behind me, or people buying groceries for others as well. You're not bragging if you've done something like that. You really you can inspire a lot of us who might be thinking, well, what can I do, Debbie, to help out? So maybe you've had that experience already.
That's the beauty of this show, Jerry. We come together as a family. We have our lives, our unique lives, right? And we're all doing the things that we think is best for our families and for our friends. And we share with one another, not to top one another, not to say, hey, look at me. We do that because we're journeying together. Please remember that, folks. We're together in this. Just picture us all, right now with social distancing, we can't do this, but picture us all now, arm in arm, and we're walking together, okay? And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get deeper in our faith and walking closer to God. That's what Take Two is all about. This is Unscripted. This is your show. Don't sit this out. I usually say don't get started with your weekend yet, but it seems like every day is like a weekend right now because everybody's in their homes and it's just crazy right now. But we want you to participate. 833-288-3986.
Yeah, you just touched on something that is, I've been kind of sensing that same feeling. You know what it's reminded me of is, sometimes around the holidays, you have the holiday days that are off, and usually, maybe Christmas Eve day or whatever. And then if you take a couple extra days, you end up with like a week or 10 days off, and you're kind of sitting around the house going, this is different, trying to find things to do. So if you are at home right now, maybe working from home, your kids are not in school, how's the home environment going right now? How are the kids adjusting to maybe online school? 833-288-3986.
And everybody's talking about how beautiful it is. We have family meals together. We're playing board games. But let's face it, you can also get like 6-7 people in a home, and it starts to get on your nerves. I mean, you can't get things done in the house. I mean, think about it. I mean, it really does. I mean, we can talk about that as well. Nobody's, we're all human. Okay, let's really do this in a very organic way and let it unfold, and with no judgments or anything. Let's just help one another along the spiritual path and just our daily lives. Let's help one another along. Please, folks, there are 2 open phone lines, and one of them has got your name on it. You know who you are. You're feeling that tug in your spirit. You know you want to call. We're very friendly. 833-288-3986. And you're not going to catch anything from us because this is all virtual. That's true. See?
Yeah, thank God. Well, and of course, our prayers are really continuing fervently every day for those who have died, those who have contracted the coronavirus. And we are just beseeching heaven, beseeching God that he will intervene on our behalf and provide wisdom, knowledge, insights, expertise to those who are scrambling to come up with treatments or a vaccine. So I know that you're joining with us in prayer for that as well. And so on this Unscripted, that is something we can talk about, all of these COVID-19 issues going on, or you can talk about something else if you would like. 833-288-3986. And
remember, on Monday, we're going to be talking about the folks that have lost their jobs, the layoffs, just bills are just getting overwhelming, and you're not sure what to do, and just how to plan for the future and what to think about. We want to be there for you. So that's Monday's show. But today is Unscripted. Anything that you want to talk about, we're here to listen. We're here to talk with you. And hopefully after this brief hour we get to spend with one another, we walk away a little bit more joyous, inspired, and we've learned something. We've grown a little bit. That's what Take Two is all about. Please call in. If you don't get on the air right away, keep calling. Stay on the line. 833-288-3986. I think this is going to be a good one, Jerry.
I agree. I think it is. Phone lines are filled up. And you hear our voices and see our faces, but there are other people behind the scenes like Rich, Jeff, and Ryan, and the others who help make the show possible as well. So we'll be right back.
Check out EWTN's official YouTube channel.
Just follow the link on our homepage at EWTN.com or go to YouTube.com/EWTN.
Watch EWTN's live shows or today's homily from the Daily Mass.
Click the upload button to see our most recent clips.
You can also find all of EWTN YouTube content by clicking the playlist button.
It's all on the official EWTN YouTube channel at YouTube.com/EWTN.
Visit today.
The wisdom of Mother Angelica.
And if you notice, there's Catholic bashing everywhere you go. They'll have a whole program about nuns who have gone astray. They're hungry for freedom. What freedom? I got more freedom than all you have. I belong to the Lord God. I'm a spouse of Christ. Oh, what can you give me? A car? Keep it.
For more information on Mother Angelica, visit Religious Catalog at EWTNRC.com.
EWTN, helping people grow in their love and understanding of God.
I didn't want to hurt my child. It's not what was happening in my mind at that time. It was just all the fear and the panic. And you've got Planned Parenthood telling you it's not a baby, and it just gets all so confusing. But I'm here to speak out that the aftermath of abortion is not worth it, because I cry every day for my children.
EWTN. Live truth. Live Catholic.
This is your show, and you are going to be the ones to drive it again on the phones when we get to you here in just a moment. I want to mention Pro-Life Weekly from EWTN airs Sundays at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Pro-Life Weekly. It's really, well, it is what it sounds like. Catherine Hadro takes the topics that are in the news and important regarding human life and the life issues and kind of boils them all down and brings them to us Sundays at 10 a.m. Eastern Time on many of these same EWTN stations. And Debbie, may I read a note from a caller yesterday?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Regular, dear soul, Cheryl, I hope you're listening right now. You listen, you email us all the time. God bless your heart. She says, Cheryl is asking us to pray for a 10-year-old boy battling cancer who is currently in St. Jude Hospital. Prayers for his protection and the protection of all those already sick children from COVID-19.
That's right.
So you can see Cheryl's got that burden on her heart, and thank you for sharing that with all of us. We appreciate it.
Okay, let's go to the phones. We're going to try to move quickly today. We have a lot of calls to get to and a lot of social media and emails and texts. You can also text us. You text the letters EWTN to 55000. You can email us, take2@EWTN.com. You can go ahead and post on YouTube or Facebook, and Jeff Burson will happily put that on the screen for us. Okay, Barb is up first from Rochester, New York on YouTube. We're waving to you, Barb. Thank you so much and welcome.
Hello, and I'm waving back, and God bless you both. I pray for you every day in your ministries.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Oh, you're most welcome. The reason why I'm calling in is because I believe that God and the Blessed Mother want us to be at peace in all things, and the coronavirus is no exception. And to be totally honest, when I say I'm at peace about everything, some people, including Catholics, and this is not to say that I don't understand where they're coming from, but they get all upset with me at times, and all this upset and all this, oh my gosh, what is going to happen, this, that, and the other thing, that's not from God, that's from Satan. Satan is all about fear, and God and the Blessed Mother are all about peace.
You're
and
very right.
As long as we're doing God's will in our lives and the Blessed Mother's will to the best of our human understanding, we have nothing to worry about. God decides when we're going to go to Him before we're even born, and God can change this whole situation in the blink of His sacred eyes, but for whatever reason, He's permitting it. I'm not saying that all this is coming from God, but He is permitting it. And, I'm just at peace about everything.
Well, that's good, Barb.
I don't know if I'm the exception, but I'm just at peace about everything because God's in charge, not man, woman, or child. God and the Blessed Mother are in charge.
Well, I'm so glad you have that peace, and I don't think you're alone in that. I generally have a sense of peace. I think you do too, Debbie. But the thing about fear, Barb and Debbie, is, it's definitely, it's kind of a human reaction to certain things that are threatening to us. How many times do we see in the Bible, when we read, I think they say 365 times, one for every day, some exhortation to be not afraid. But even our Blessed Mother, and I'm not saying she was afraid, but the angel wanted to reassure her when, she's having the supernatural experience of an angel appearing to her, and the angel, just to put her at peace, just said, do not fear, Mary, Mm-hmm. So, I just think, we shouldn't let anything steal our peace, Deb.
Right. Well, and here's the problem, Barb, and I think you touched upon it. What's happening is when we say we're at peace during this, everybody thinks we're irresponsible, or we're going to be thoughtless, or we're going to be reckless. We're going to go out there and just say, okay, coronavirus, come hit me. I'm great. I'm at peace. That's not what people are saying. What they're saying is you can still maintain peace through the storm. Obviously, we know that. And it's reinforced in Scripture. Okay. And so it's two separate things. It's not saying people are going to go out there and be totally irresponsible to the point where they're going to infect others and stuff like that. What they're saying is they don't want to entertain this idea of overwhelming fear, and fear is not of God. I used to teach on this for years. Fear is not of God. The fear element is not of God. Barb, is that where you were going with it?
Yes, and also I just would like to say, I have multiple disabilities. I think about 9. And I used to be in the workplace but now I can't. And I end up having to stay inside a lot. But, a lot. I probably only get out a few times a year. But you know what? It's ended up being a blessing. And my physical disabilities are not my suffering at all. It's like the martyrs had joy, and I have joy every day. I'm not saying life is hard, but the things that bother me in life have nothing to do with my disabilities and illnesses, because I look at it as a time to spend more time with God and the Blessed Mother. And perhaps if I was still in the workplace, I wouldn't have that opportunity, and I wouldn't give that up for anything. This is for me to have solitude, was like not forced on me, but I didn't expect that I would be out of work. But it happened, and the life I have now doesn't compare to what I had before. I wouldn't give this solitude up for anything, nor would I give up any of my disabilities, because of the fact that, if God suffered on the cross, so what if I have my disabilities? It's only the pain is only compared to that of a paperclip to me.
Barb, you've got a beautiful perspective on this. Yeah, you've got a beautiful perspective on this, and it's just a great thing to see. You're very insightful. You can tell, Debbie, I'm hearing the fruit of Barb's solitude and prayer life as she's sharing so many really rather deep and profound insights about her situation and comparing it to, others thinking, wow, I'm not going through anything compared to what other people are. So, Barb, thank you. It's a beautiful way to get the call started today.
Absolutely, Barb. Stay safe, stay strong. Thank you for your beautiful, beautiful heart today and being first up on Unscripted. I do want to say this, though, about, our wonderful young adults who are out of college during spring break. Those news reports first came out that said this virus doesn't really affect them that much. And now the reports are coming in saying, no, it actually could be bad. They could also be carriers and all sorts of things. I do think that type of, I don't have any fear, I'm going to still go to the Miami beaches and have my spring break. I think that is not wise. That is really, in my opinion, not a smart thing to do for the rest of us. And that part of not having fear, that's that thing of feeling like you're invincible. That's dangerous. Okay, we have to be smart about this, and we have to be wise about this. I know you would agree with that. Prudence, yeah.
I would say absolutely. Prudence is not the same thing as fear.
Right.
So just being prudent, I think, is what you're talking about. And,
yep.
Okay, Barb,
absolutely.
Thanks for the call from
Barb.
Rochester. We appreciate that. Robert is next in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Thank you, Robert, for calling Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Good day.
Good morning, and God bless you. My thoughts are these things that happen to us during our lives. I know that when I was going through some trying times, it seems like I always got on my knees to have God help me. And I think this is a time for all of us throughout the world to get closer to God and be thankful to Him, because He and He alone can take us through this storm. It reminds me of the song in the 60s, put your hand in the hand of the man that stilled the waters. And He can certainly still our heart if we just devote ourselves totally to Him, commit to Him, and realize that everything is in His hands. And we have no control over what's going on with this virus, but we have control over prayer and unity in prayer. And that can be more powerful than anything, any amount of money. Nothing can compare to prayer. And prayer can certainly move us to a place where we all come together as a family, brothers and sisters in Christ, and know that that's what we are here for. We're here to prepare for everlasting life through prayer and through unity and to love, peace, and comforting one another during times of need.
Robert, I hope you were listening yesterday. We actually shared that at the beginning of the Unscripted yesterday as well. It's very similar to what you were saying, and we couldn't agree more. And actually, I was specifically talking about the fact that this is an awesome opportunity for us to deepen our faith. And if we miss this opportunity, we've blown it. We've absolutely blown it, because eventually they will come up with a vaccine for this. Eventually we will have enough immunity in the population. Eventually this thing will pass eventually, or we'll be able to deal with it better without all these deaths and all these confirmed cases. But if we've missed the chance to grow and deepen our faith, you just have to imagine that the good Lord is shaking his head going, what is it going to take for you guys to get on your knees and to realize what is really important in life? I couldn't agree more, Robert. What do you think, Jerry?
Very well said. We cannot waste this opportunity. It's like, even if we're not suffering directly by being infected or suffering or even dying from this, we have an opportunity to offer the sufferings that we are experiencing. For example, the inability for most of us, if not all of us, to go to Mass at this time. That's something we can offer to God. If we have a loved one who has been directly impacted by this, we can certainly serve them in a very special way, offering that to the Lord. But I agree with you, Debbie. We should be on, not just because something like this happens. See, it's every time there's a crisis, we all hit our knees, and then as soon as it goes away, little by little, we're all just kind of back to business as usual without God, So I'm with you, Debbie. I hope I hope it's over quickly, and I hope it remains strong in our memories, and that devotion to God is strong.
Well, and real quickly, Robert and Jerry, I was thinking about this as well, and I'm not trying to be judgmental in any way, shape, or form. Please understand that, folks, that's not part of who I am. But, everybody's talking about how exciting this can be. We can bake cookies together. We can bring out the board games and play Monopoly and everything. Why not do Catholic trivia? Why not do some things that are going to benefit you and move you along on the spiritual path? Okay, we are still in the midst of Lent. Okay, this is a time for fasting and for prayer, and not to gain 15, 20 pounds because we've stocked up on all of our comfort foods and we're just going through the cabinets because mindlessly not knowing what to do. I'm not saying everybody's doing this, but I'm watching the news reports, folks. So okay, I just don't shoot me for that. But I'm just saying that isn't it true, Robert? I mean, every time, the time we have in our homes is time that should be well spent in formation. Robert?
I think it's a time, yes, to, every time we go through a tragedy, we worry about the tragedy rather than worry. And this used to happen to me, rather than say, God, what lesson is there in this that's going through in my life? And this is a lesson for us to come together as a family, whether you're sitting around the table and enjoying dinner. It's, lots of families have broken up because of work, and they're busy doing this and busy doing that. And now it gives us an opportunity to embrace each other, not only at home, but embrace each other through the media and listen to the word and pray more, and know that the prayer that we give to God through our heart sincerely will always be answered. But it's a beautiful opportunity, I think, for the world to come together. There are so many brothers and sisters, and those that don't know Christ are also looking for salvation, and this is a good time. And so I thank God every single moment of my life for my wife, my mother, my family, and you folks that are out there, giving us the light that we need in a time of darkness. And thank you so much to EWTN, who has done such a wonderful thing throughout the world. And thank God for allowing Mother Angelica to put it together. It is beautiful. Thank you so much.
Well, it is we who thank you, Robert, and we hope that we will hear from you again. Thanks for listening this morning to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Sal is next. Sal is in Jackson, Michigan, listening on Good Shepherd Catholic Radio. Hi, Sal. Welcome to Take Two on this Unscripted.
Hi.
Hi, Sal.
Hi there.
I just want to preface first that I am so grateful that everything that the church is doing during this time, and I think that they are doing, a lot for us, and that they're following, what they're supposed to do, and that obedience. But I want to use kind of what's happening to ask the question just for in general. So my question is, kind of that line between faith and lack of faith, or obedience and logic. By the way, I'm an English teacher. So, for example, when this stuff kind of started, there could be someone in front of me getting the communion wine and they could be hacking, and no problem. I'll follow after them and I'll drink because, if we have that mustard seed sized faith, we could tell mountains to move. So I never worried about that or shaking hands or anything. And so, again, I get that the church had to do what they were told to do. But I'm just kind of wondering, where is that line between obedience and just lack of faith, I guess? Because for me, I was inside wanting to do some Rosa Parks stuff and just still sit in church and you're not moving me. I don't care. I wasn't going to, obviously, but
right.
I just kind of question, I know someone was saying before about fear. I'm not saying that that's what we have, but as Catholics or Christians, should we be oh well, who cares? Let's we believe we're not going to get sick. We have faith, and continue Mass, or by not doing so, is that obedience or is that lack of faith and fear?
Okay. Tell you what, Sal, you hear that music there? We're going to let our local affiliates take care of a couple of things. And when we come back, Debbie and I will have some thoughts for you on that. I think it's a very, it's a question that's on a lot of people's minds right now. So we will get to Sal, back to her, and also Sam and Mary and Melissa and the others waiting here on Unscripted. Take 2 with Jerry and Debbie. Glad you're with us on this Friday.
This is Father Wade Menezes from the Fathers of Mercy and Open Line Tuesday. Join me for the novena for those affected by the coronavirus, Before the Rosary with Father Benedict Rochelle, tonight, 9:30 Eastern on EWTN Radio.
Father Benedict Rochelle.
I'm going to tell you about the most abused woman I ever met in my life. You know her name as Roe, as in Roe versus Wade. I talked to Roe. This woman is a great penitent. This woman is a humble person who was deeply hurt. She was kneeling in the Basilica of the Immaculate Conception, the National Shrine in Washington, when I met her. And I thought, what reverence. I didn't know who this woman was, but she was praying with reverence, with great fervor. And I asked a priest friend of mine, who is that? And he says, oh, that's Roe. God is not mocked. This woman was abused by those who propagate the killing of children.
The people you know and trust are on EWTN.
EWTN is now on Twitter. Get short, timely messages from EWTN on your computer or cell phone. It's easy to stay up to date on a wide variety of topics. Pro-life news, Vatican announcements, catechesis, apologetics, the latest EWTN programming, and more. You can link to EWTN on Twitter from our homepage or go to twitter.com/EWTN. At work, at home, at school, and on the road. Stay connected to your world with EWTN's Twitter page.
Hi, this is Dr. David Anders. Are you curious about the Catholic faith and need answers? Called to Communion is the show for you. Today at 2 p.m. Eastern. Now back to Take 2 with Jerry and Debbie.
This is your show, Unscripted, today on Take 2 with Jerry and Debbie. And we do have full phone lines, but we'd like you to call in. You have plenty of time to still possibly get on the air. We're talking to Sal in Jackson, Michigan, and she was wondering, why, kind of processing through this idea of why the public masses have been canceled during this time. And so let's talk about it a little bit more. Let's work through this, Sal, if you will. Jerry, do you have comments first?
I was just going to say a couple of things. I don't know that we really have a choice. I don't know, but I suspect even if the secular authorities, as they're saying, no groups now more than 10 people, I don't know for sure either way, and somebody can maybe help me with this, if the church is obligated to follow that, but I would assume they probably are. But in any case, the the church is a target already of the world. The world does not like the church at all. And all it would take would be one bishop deciding, well, masses can continue in our diocese. And all of a sudden, if you get just this huge outbreak from that, just think that would be the church. They would pile on, so.
Right.
And in Romans, St. Paul talks in chapter 1 and chapter 16, right at the start of the book and at the end of the book, he has a phrase that he uses called the obedience of faith. And so faith and obedience aren't necessarily separate. They actually are very much related. So that's what I would share.
Yeah, I agree. Sal, and what I would just say is I think our bishops are trying very hard to deal with the local authorities and people that have the medical background to advise them and stuff and to keep us safe as the faithful and to keep us away from this for a time being, just to literally protect us. I mean, they are our shepherds, our bishops, and they are not only helping us right now spiritually, but they're also protecting us physically and emotionally, because this is very disturbing for all of us. And the other thing I would say too is a lot of people are making comments saying Mass is ended. Mass continues to go on. Okay, the priests say their daily Masses. It continues. So Mass is happening, and we are all part of that. As the mystical body of Christ, we are all baptized Catholic Christians. Okay, we are all part of that. We're just not physically part of it right now. But thanks be to God for technology. We can be there virtually, and we can be there and representing the faith very fervently in a time like this. So I got to tell you, Sal, I started off the first couple days, I was like, what are we doing? We should be flooding the churches. But as time goes on, I understand now the wisdom that the bishops chose to take for all of us to protect us. So I'm starting to understand it better. I want to hear your comments, though.
I agree. It was more, I'm just wondering, just for in general, not just with this, but in other things, just that concept. I strongly believe that God doesn't make these bad things happen, but He could use them for, there's some good that could come out of them. For example, a lot of families are now coming together, and it really put into perspective what we have and what we take for granted. Because, you hear stories of people who have to walk miles to the nearest church, or who don't have church, or who can't receive communion. And in my head, I'm like, yeah, oh, wow, that would suck. But living it and, it's like, oh, my gosh, I never would have thought, we're not, in some third world country, or we're not in a place where this happens. And it makes it to where, oh, my goodness, I am just so I don't know what to say. I blessed, when the little moments, my priest is doing mass, not really mass, but communion.
You're grateful.
And taking people in their car. And it's like, I've never been so just so happy, so grateful, just joyful to receive the host, and because we take it for granted because we have it, no problem every day if we want to go to church. And so it's just really changing me a lot. And I hope it does for everybody. But I was just trying to work through that logic and applying it to other things. I know you have people on the line, so I don't want to go into further detail. But it's just something that I'm trying to work through. And
me too.
I get what the Catholic Church is doing, and I'm very grateful, and I trust them.
Yeah, and just one other quick thing, Sal, and for everyone who's listening, maybe a couple of things. One, at the transubstantiation, the miracle that occurs is the bread and the wine, they become the body and blood of Christ, but they retain their natural qualities, if you will. So if somebody was to drink, 3-4 glasses of the blood of Christ, they would still get inebriated. So it retains those things. And so for that reason, and maybe others, they could be a carrier of the virus, simply because the miracle that takes place is not that they suddenly become,
resistant
different.
to all.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Outside
and
things.
The other thing I would say is there's a phrase in Latin. I alluded to this concept yesterday. It's called ecclesia supplet. And what that means is the church supplies, and what that usually pertains to is if there's a sacrament administered or something, and maybe the words aren't quite right that are said or something, the church supplies the grace, in the place of maybe the thing that was not quite done, entirely right. So.
Mm-hmm. And can I just, absolutely. And can I just say something else real quickly? Because Jerry just jogged my memory, Sal. So hang on. Let's think about this too. The number one prayer intention request is for loved ones who have left the faith to come back, right? That's the number one. Now, how are we getting these folks back? Well, we're in a situation now where we are shut in with these fine individuals who are part of our family, right? Who maybe don't go to church. Okay. But now there is one churchgoer in that home that wants to turn on that television, that wants to turn on that computer. And here goes the mass throughout all of the rooms of the house. Okay. So now that person who has left the faith is just being dripped on with the mass. Maybe let's look at this, from different angles. Maybe God's saying, well, you guys have been praying that you want your loved ones to come back. The only way I'm going to get them to come back is if they're going to be able to hear the mass, pray the rosary, hear the beautiful sacred music that could be playing in our homes. Think about it. This is very interesting. So let's not lose faith because we are unable to go to mass. Let's build gratitude and this creative sense that this could be a great tool to bring people back. How awesome would that be? I agree with you, Sal. Gratitude, I think it's increasing everybody's sense of gratefulness that we have the ability to receive the precious body and blood, soul, and divinity of our Lord Jesus Christ. What do you think, Sal, about that angle?
I definitely agree. I think that I really hope people don't just focus on the negative, because I could see God doing so much good with what's happening. So I just hope people don't focus on the negative and, kind of look at all the good that is coming out of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Sal, for joining us. We appreciate it so much. And please keep listening and feel free to call the program anytime. Talking today about, it's unscripted today. So any topic that is on your mind or in your heart, 833-288-3986. And we will go to Sam in Houston, listening on Guadalupe Radio Network. Hi, Sam. Welcome aboard here to Take Two.
Hello, everyone. I just want to say quickly how yesterday's prayer coming in overseas on the EWTN, how powerful it was for me. What a wonderful spiritual experience I had. Hello?
Yes, no, we're here. I thought you had something else. I felt the exact same way. I just felt, I was over in Italy on a pilgrimage. And so just seeing those beautiful churches and their artwork, oh my goodness, the spiritual art. But I'll tell you what, just knowing that the whole world had stopped and was praying, I was very grateful. Sam, I wonder, it seems like you are as well. I was so grateful to EWTN radio and television. I actually watched it on the television as we were praying. And I was thinking to myself, so many times people take for granted even Catholic radio and television, thinking it's always going to be there. And I'm thinking, thank goodness for Mother Angelica that she had this vision. Thank goodness for all the fine people that started local Catholic radio stations in their areas around the country. Thank goodness at this time, how absolutely incredible it is. It's a jewel in our midst. And we saw that yesterday when we all came together as a world praying. Right, Sam?
Yes, with the billions and the billions of people praying at the same time, I literally just collapsed into a heap of tears, and I didn't go into hysterics, but it was so spiritually enriching. I felt it. I felt that real conviction. It started on the beginning of the third mystery, the luminous mystery of the proclamation of the kingdom. That's when it really hit me.
Yeah. Well, and one of the many beautiful things about it, Sam, is, we're all having to practice this social distancing right now, stay in our homes. We can't really be with the ones we love, be with our church family physically, but in a very real spiritual way, the church was almost as if we were under the same roof of a church building together, everybody who prayed that prayer with the Holy Father. So I am in complete agreement. It was an absolutely beautiful experience.
Thank you, Sam.
Y'all have a great afternoon.
You too,
You
Sam.
too.
Thanks.
Have a beautiful weekend. And can I say real quickly before we go to Mary? Mary, hold on. You know, a lot of folks, and it's so beautiful. Everybody's posting on social media the beautiful things they're doing with their families. You know, they're popping popcorn. Like I said, they're baking cookies. They're running around the house playing games, hide and seek, this and that. It's beautiful. Trust me. I think it's so gorgeous and beautiful, and I love it. But please, folks, there are a lot of people sitting home alone. The only thing they have is their telephone and their TV set. Please call those folks on a regular basis who are alone, who really don't have that beauty of a family, harmony and that whole synergy happening. I find that part of this whole entire situation to be very tragic for those that are completely alone, Jerry.
Yeah, it's sad. I mean, they're in that situation often during normal times, but especially right now. I think it's important for them to know that there are people who care for them and want them to be a part of, the rest of us, the human family, the church family. So I agree with you completely.
Yeah, and you can bring them in by FaceTime or Skype. Bring them into your family celebrations. Say, hey, you want to join us while we play Monopoly? Hey, get creative is all I'm saying. Okay, I'm sorry. That's enough said.
No apology needed. Let's go to Mary in Reseda, California, watching the stream on Facebook today. Hi, Mary. Welcome to Take Two. Welcome back to Take Two.
Yeah, hi. Thank you.
Sure.
I feel very scattered today. I have so many things to say, so I'll say them really quickly. First of all, I live in the LA area, and so I guess last evening, we were like closed, basically shut down. And then, of course, I guess all of California is shut down. And that just kind of freaked me out. I'm 64 years old. I have diabetes. I have a compromised immune system. And I've had one virus after another since right before Thanksgiving, the Monday before Thanksgiving. So I have not been well, and I've been out of the house very few times. And every time I go out, it seems like I get something, like my voice is kind of hoarse now again. And so I'm really scared that my immune system is, not like I'm going to catch it.
Right.
And I usually, my faith, it's usually like I've had times where it's super strong, and then of course, and maybe I think this is kind of normal, then it kind of goes down a little. And today I was finding it just, when I had a few problems in the middle of the night where I wasn't feeling good, my blood sugar was high for no reason. I think it's stress. And so, I just woke up like really scared, And I'm like this, and then I was listening to you guys, and it's like, and of course I know this is Satan that, is the scaredness, and trying to make me scared and not be trusting, But then I also know that, and I talked to you guys about this, but I lost my sister rather quickly, 3 years ago now, but, she did have an underlying health problem, but boom, all of a sudden she was gone. And so I know that can happen too, So, excuse me. So I'm just kind of scattered today, like all over the place. My husband went to work. He may come home. We don't know. He was considered an essential. Now they don't know. So we will find out today at some point. So I'm just, like I said, I'm really scattered. I had talked to you guys, I think it was like January 2nd, regarding some really serious financial problems we had because my husband had lost his job last year. And like I said, I have been a mess. I really have been just a mess because my little therapy dog died on June 20th last year. And she got sick rather quickly. She was only 9 years old. And I miss her something awful. And I know that may sound crazy because she's a dog.
Not
but
at all.
I'm home alone a lot. And she was an Italian Greyhound, and if you know anything about they're a small Greyhound, and their thing is they're called Velcro dogs. They absolutely love to be with you, and she was always with me. And when I didn't feel good, she was just always with me. But we would pray together. I swear, I would tell her, "Give me your paw. We're going to do it." Prayers,
how
paw
beautiful!
Prayers, call them.
Well, Mary, you mentioned, you said a couple of times that you're kind of scattered today. And I think that that's not just you. I think a lot of people are trying to make sense of everything that's going on and really are scattered, maybe go from one emotion or thought to another and trying to follow the news and stay up on everything that's going on. And we're praying for God to help us out with all of this. A couple of things. Well, one thing I would suggest, I don't know if your parish, if the office is still open at your parish, perhaps you could call them and they could help, maybe do some shopping for you, or if you have to pick up prescriptions or anything like that. I know a lot of people, Debbie, are really taking this on as sort of a very charitable practice, especially during these times that we're living in right now. So I think that's one thought that I would have for you, Mary. Debbie, what do you think?
Oh, and again, Mary, I always remind everybody, and I think I might have reminded you actually about the fact that we're not alone. Okay, we're alone, in this physical state in this world, but we have our guardian angel right with us, and so we take it one step at a time, and we just move it one step at a time. If you think too far ahead, it can just really mess with you with our brains. It just can, because we don't know what's in store for us. So we take it one day at a time. And Mary, I'm going to pray that for you because you're a beautiful soul. We love to hear from you. You do have a very strong guardian angel next to you. Look how much you've gone through and look how you are here strong as ever. Okay, hang in there, keep the faith, and know that your guardian angel is probably working overtime right now, helping you along. So lean on your guardian angel and see if that brings you an additional sense of comfort and hope. Okay, Mary, we love you so very, very much.
Okay, thanks, Mary, for your call. We still have full phone lines here, and we're going to get to as many people as we can. Yes, Deb?
Can I just quickly just highlight this real fast?
Absolutely.
Okay, you can stay up to date on the latest EWTN TV and radio shows, books, art, CDs, and DVDs from Religious Catalog, plus the blogs, the bookmark, news, and events. And this is how you do it. You sign up for Wings, folks. It's the weekly newsletter by EWTN. So you sign up for Wings at EWTN.com. Do that quickly, because you want to be just aware of everything that's up to date and things that you can utilize in your homes and with your families. I think it's important, Jerry. We got to stay up to date on things.
Okay, Melissa is next. Thank you for your patience in Cleveland, listening on The Rock to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Hello, Melissa. Welcome. Melissa, are you there? Well,
Melissa.
Gosh, you've waited quite a while, Melissa, so we hope that maybe Ryan can get back in touch with you and see if you're there. May I read an email that came in?
Please.
Actually,
Please.
It came in yesterday.
We have complete full phone lines. We could do this all through the weekend.
Probably every day. This comes from Leslie. Thank you, Leslie, for this very, I think, creative and insightful approach you're taking. She says, "Hi, Jerry and Debbie. I know there are people everywhere feeling fearful. I am a daily mass person. Last week when they closed the church, I thought I could add prayer time to my day at home. But I get so distracted that other than my brief conversation with the Lord, I was not getting in any serious prayer. So I'm dealing with the closing of our church by 1, get up and get ready for Mass as if it were still being held. 2, drive to our church and park as close to the tabernacle as possible. I put my soul and mind in church and see the tabernacle with our Lord. Number 3, read the daily readings. Number 4, pray, sing, read a spiritual book. Number 5, make a spiritual communion. Number 6, pray Padre Pio's after communion prayer, stay with me, Lord. And finally, number 7, close my eyes and just be with Jesus for a few minutes." And she says, I hope this helps anyone feeling trapped in their house without their God time. I was also thinking of lighting a candle and leaving it. God bless and keep us all safe in his loving hug. Leslie.
Excellent. I've said that before. We've got churches a couple miles away. Drive into the parking lot and spend, 5 or 10 minutes in the parking lot. You're very close to the tabernacle. Okay, Melissa is ready. We got her ready. We stalled enough. She's listening on Cleveland. She's listening in Cleveland, Ohio, on The Rock. Hi, Melissa. Welcome.
Hi. So sorry about that.
That's okay.
No problem. No problem.
I just wanted to say something. First of all, Mary, I'm going to pray for you, but I want you to know that you are brave because you did call in, and that took guts to express how you feel instead of holding it in. So you are a brave person. Don't be afraid.
Mm-hmm.
And secondly, the main reason I called is to talk about gratitude. And at first, I was very upset, like many people, about not being able, especially during this time of year, Lent and the Holy Week, about not being able to participate. But I think what it does is make me grateful that we do live in a country that these things aren't denied to us on a daily basis like they are with so many of our brothers and sisters throughout the world who don't have the opportunity to celebrate Mass or the Eucharist. So I am so grateful, and I will never take for granted again the opportunities that I have. And I am so grateful that I am alive at this time, in this place. And we are truly blessed as a nation. And I hope that everyone can look at it in those kind of, through that lens.
Yeah. Well, I will tell you what, Melissa, we last Friday, we posted a prayer for a pandemic on the take2show.com website. And I would encourage everyone to go there and read it because it talks about, for example, may we who are merely inconvenienced remember those whose lives are at stake. May we who have no risk factors remember those who are vulnerable. And it goes on like that. But this call is a home run, Debbie, because, I don't have a mansion or anything, but the fact that I'm stuck at home more, that means I get to enjoy this nice, beautiful home that God has given me. And I get to clean out, one of the two refrigerator freezers that I have that are overflowing with food, and do things like that. And it's an eye-opening thing because we take all of these things for granted, but Melissa's bringing us back around to help us to remember to not take these things for granted, but be grateful.
Be grateful. That's exactly what we keep saying, Melissa. We keep saying this is an opportunity for all of us for deep growth within ourselves, in our spiritual life. This could be an amazing time if we use it wisely. Melissa, thank you so very much for your wise words. And I agree with Jerry. It is a home run call. Thank you so very much. And thank you for listening on The Rock. And that reminds me, okay, there are still going to be local pledge drives happening all around the country for all the local Catholic radio stations. Okay. And it's not because they think that, we're just going to throw something else on top of you during this coronavirus pandemic. No, they need the necessary funds to keep functioning, to keep your Catholic radio going strong and thriving into the future. Please, I'm begging folks, if you have an excess of funds, give it over to your local Catholic radio station, and also remember EWTN as well. Okay, we've got to think bigger, and we've got to think the future. We have to think for our children and our grandchildren. So we must keep Catholic radio and television going strong in our local areas, all the way globally with EWTN.
Yeah, beautifully put, Debbie. And I think it's so important because let's face it, much of the media that we see, not all of it, this isn't a sweeping statement, but a lot of them, this fear, this panic, this hysteria is just kind of being driven by some in the media. You've got other media outlets like EWTN and others. They're simply exhorting us to stay calm, to not panic, to not be afraid, and look at this all in perspective. It's a horrible, horrible thing. And we are with you and hoping and praying, asking God this will pass quickly. And whatever normal is, is going to be at the end of this. We hope that God will bring us to that as soon as possible.
Absolutely. And a couple people have been asking, what prayers are we saying? Me in particular, I'm saying the St. Michael prayer morning and evening, the Guardian Angel prayer morning and evening, the Memorare, the Rosary, watching Mass daily. And Terry, if I may say your comment about the priests saying Mass alone, you're right. They're not alone. They are crowded by angels at the sacrifice of the Mass. The angels are there with our priests and our bishops. So thank you for that, Terry and Philip and Kevin. We can't get to you, but you're welcome to call back on Monday, right, Jerry?
Absolutely. Tomorrow, Surprised by Faith in the Encore. Monday, we are going to have a special show for you about if you've lost your job because of this coronavirus. Until then, have a beautiful and blessed weekend.
You've heard of the incredible shrinking man? This is Dr. Ray Gurendi. I am the incredible manly shrink. The doctor is in next.
Hey, Take Two family, it's here, and we can't wait for you to see what we've created to help you reach your highest potential in life. It's StandTallToday.com, our brand new website loaded with just the things you're looking for. Those include our team of life coaches, resources picked out just for you, our webinars, book club, and more. Whether you're struggling to find your purpose or feel like you have it pretty much figured out, let us help you today at StandTallToday.com. That's